next big ticket item could be the biggest news breaker of the last week or two. The OHL Draft is going to be live in person. Sounds like it's going to be in Kingston, according to Jeff Merrick, which he's a pretty trusted source. So let's get into that discussion because we've already talked about attendance issues, I guess is the best way to put that for the Kingston Frontenacs. And don't get me wrong, I've never been to the venue. Colin, you say it's a nice venue.
I've gotten corrected on it.
Trust you.
But there was some conversation to be had.
Yep. Yeah, it's, photos I've seen, it looks really nice. Kingston's got a lot of history in this league as well, so that makes it even better. I guess let's start with having it in Kingston, then we'll get to the event itself. But to go to Kingston for the first one, what do you think?
I think it was down to Kingston and Niagara. By Memorial Cup teams.
What, the two teams that did?
Man. Exactly. No, I know nothing about Niagara. I was just saying because the two Cup teams, it had to have been the two teams eliminated. But all pun intended, honestly, Niagara would have been a good host as well, a good runner-up, just because the area they have in the border with the NCAA agreement now, more access to the States. But Kingston has access to New York. But I think it'll be okay. Obviously, there's going to be Kingston is the first host. It's a nice venue. It's a venue that definitely could do a good job hosting it. I think the one end would be getting the Zamboni door to have the stage, so they come in on right there in the one the seating, because I thought it would be a little bit of a bigger venue for year one. And it's similar to like how I said, if it was in Niagara, you could recline the one end of the seats there and have the stage right there at the draft. That's kind of where Kingston, I don't know how they're going to do that, with the stage and how they'll set it up. But I think all in all, it's a good spot. I'm excited to see what they do. I mean, it's a wait and see. It's so early to critique the draft yet. Yeah. I'm excited for it to be live. It's a great experience to have it live. I know, Reece, you've been to a draft before in the National Hockey League level. We see what the Q did. The OHL was around the Q draft this year. There were representatives from the OHL in the Quebec draft this year watching it. Watching the groundwork and how to run an event like this in person. Draft floor is going to be interesting. Is the trade window open? That would be incredible.
Oh, man.
The amount of movement that's going to happen at this draft, man, is going to be exciting. Yeah. So that's the part that I'm excited for. That if there's going to be those rumors, definitely I'm not moving the first round pick thing. So good luck with that. We're not going to see like the big NHL type moves where first rounds are going here. But you might see player moves. You might see jockeying for positioning for sure, which is going to be fun. You might see that 12th round pick for a 12th round pick in next year's draft, stuff like that. But there's going to be fun moves. There's definitely going to be. It's going to be fun. Like another thing I'm interested in, how many people are actually going to be able to attend the draft? How many players are actually going to be able to attend? Like day 2 of the draft, we've been in draft rooms before. Day 2 of the draft is a long day.
Yeah.
You're going to have to shorten that up. The draft, like we see it all the time. I mean, the draft shows and the processes are going to have to speed up, and we're going to have more engagement if it's going to be that long of a day. Well, because they're the players. I mean, that's long. If I'm ranked, I don't think I'm going to the draft. If I'm ranked from the 8th round and to the 15th, I'm not going, I don't think.
Well, and the NHL's like that too, right? If you're 4th round or higher, not a ton of players go. They might, but it's not, I've got to be there. It's, I think maybe we'll go 50. There. We'll see what's going on. So then, yeah, let's get into that because I've got some thoughts on what we could see or potentially should see, or what I want to. I should rephrase that. Number one, let's not have that. And then again, I hope teams are in person for this. I hope they've got tables set up with the big logo and everybody sitting around there. If it's just a live event and they're calling in remote, I hope we don't have that awkward video room where they talk to the GMs over video stream. That looked really awkward for a lot of players, especially when you couldn't hear. Like the connection wasn't working as well. So that I hope we don't see that. But yeah, I can't wait to see the big screens in behind. I'm sure for the players it'd be awesome to see your a highlight video play. When you're walking up to the stage to grab the jersey, take the photo, that would be really cool. I think there's a lot that the OHL can do with this. And again, it's going to be year one. Will there be kinks? Sure, probably. But on the other hand, I think this is another way for the league to just be better than it already is. And it might be, well, it's fine the way it is. And it's like, well, no, you have to innovate somehow, right? And I think this is a really, really great way to do it. I'll ask you this question. As commissioner of the Ontario Hockey League, does Brian Crawford receive the automatic Gary Bettman boos, or just for being a commissioner, Or
previously, for sure, there would have been.
Or is this a round of applause for doing this and, rivalry weekend, whether that was his idea or not, or starting to see all the new things around the OHL? Like,
100%.
I don't know. I feel like that's just the obligatory boo for the commissioner, but also too, like, no reason to boo Brian Crawford.
No, and it's only been a year and a half now. Like, and like I said, by saying previous commissioner, there would have been boos. Yeah, because Dave Branch was there for 45 seasons. There's a relationship there. There's teams there. Like, I don't think the relationship's at that level yet. And I mean, Dave Branch did a lot of good things for the Ontario Hockey League. I'm not critiquing him at all. I respect what he's done. Brian Crawford has done a lot. I mean, the transformation in the OHL, the amount they've evolved here over the last year and a half is incredible. You look back and, I mean, there's still a lot of kinks. There's still a lot of kinks, but you look at the TV. I mean, there's a lot of problems with Flow Hockey, for sure, with Flow TV. There's a lot, but it's not perfect. There's a lot of production that needs to get better, 100%. And I truly believe when what we saw here in the track record of the last year and a half, there's a really good opportunity here for the league to continue to evolve in a positive manner. Mm-hmm. I think those will come. And that's what I'm excited for with this draft. I think it's a great thing. I think it's a great thing for kids to be able to go to the draft. I think for the players, it's really good. The only negative I have from this is about it moving to June. I love that it's moving to June, by the way. I love that. The seasons are actually completely done. I think that's great news. But the only negative I have on the flip side, players don't get to go to a playoff game now after the draft. Longtime listeners of this show, remember having Gavin Bryant on here talking about, shout out to Greg, his father, who made the T-shirt for him, his draft T-shirt.
Oh, yeah. That was awesome.
Players going to places after they're getting drafted. And it's like, oh my gosh, this is cool. I remember as a kid. Yeah. I remember when Dalton Duhart got drafted by the London Knights. He sat beside us at the game, and
that's cool.
I remember it was a year the London Knights got beat out to Erie. So the year after they won the Mem Cup. And they got beat out in 7 games. And they got beat out to Erie in 7 games. And I remember they had to come back, and I think it was game 6 or game 4. They had a big comeback in the third period, and Erie was all over them. Then they come back, and the Bud at the time is going crazy. It's a mecca of junior hockey. And I remember my dad leaning over to him and goes, think about next year being on the other side of this. And you could see the look on his face, like, oh, this is great. And that's the best part. We talked, not to get too Bulldog oriented, but we talked with Gavin Christie, David Buckman, Jeremy Freeman in the summer on the Dogcast. And we talked about them experiencing the playoff game last year at Civic Center. And it's signing autographs for the first time at those events. So that's the stuff that I'll miss, because it's less stories we're going to get, but there's still going to be, there's still meetings, there's still visits, teams visit. I mean, we witnessed a Belchez visit in person before. So there's going to be visits, there's going to be game visits. So it's going to be exciting at that side, but it's not the same after your draft. You get the puck drop and stuff like that. Yeah.
So then, and I'll start by saying this. I'm not pushing for Brian Crawford to get booed. We had a great conversation with him during after the press conference for the sale of the Bulldogs. Brian Crawford's awesome. He should not be booed. It's just every commissioner gets booed, so I feel like that's an automatic. But I think, I agree with you about that, not getting them to a playoff game, because I think a lot of teams, minus Brantford, because we don't have suites at the Civic Center, rent out a suite from the building and throw all of their draft prospect in there, or I guess now team prospects at that point. But at this point, after the draft in June, does that allow a team or all 20 to do some sort of draft class reveal or unveiling or meet and greet or something like that? I'm sure if they could get it sponsored, they'd probably do it. But, is that an opportunity, do you think, for teams to be like, hey, come out to GFL Memorial Gardens to see the future of the Sioux Greyhounds. Time is this. There'll be autographs, food, prizes. I don't know, whatever. You can make an event out of it. I think that'd be pretty cool.
What's the timeline like, too? What's the time? I agree. I think it's an extra way to get creative in your marketing strategy with teams. 100%. I agree with that. And I think it's a good idea. It's going to be interesting to see, because remember before when guys get drafted and they get in the car and take off right to the place they're drafted?
Yeah,
that's gonna be interesting too to see how that goes, right? Because like you're going to Kingston for the draft, everyone's there with you in the front office. You're gonna meet everybody there when you get to go to the facility and see it for the first time, right?
Yeah.
So that's something too that I'm interested to hear about. I mean, teams are gonna figure that out. That's logistics stuff. It'll be simple to do at the time, but everyone's in Kingston, and we got to take off to Windsor. So that'll be that part'll be fun to see how that goes, or Saginaw, Flint, like that's a long drive from Kingston if you're a first round pick, but worth it for sure. It'll be a fun drive when you get drafted and all your friends and family are there. But I'm excited. I really am excited to see how this goes.
Yeah, so am I, and I think there's a prime opportunity for an OHL Fan Fest before the draft as well. I think that'd be really cool to see also. So